My plan this morning was to be at camp site number 10 in Mohican and camping overnight. And I was gonna pack in with a pack of about 30 pounds. And last Friday I had a stress test on my heart, and the heart doctor called me yesterday and said, hey, I think we better put a couple stents in. So that kind of changed my plans a little bit, but I decided I wanted to really camp anyway. So I'm here at Mount Gilead State Park again, and just came up to the site that I usually camp at, Site 31. Gonna do a hang tonight, and a couple friends are coming. John Higginbottom and Scott Butler. They decided to join me, even on late notice. They decided they'd come down and make sure I didn't do something I wasn't supposed to do this weekend, I guess, as well. So we're gonna have some fun. I just got to camp. It's really before setup time, but I think they'll let me set up because nobody's here on the site. And so I'm gonna get my stuff set up, and I'm just gonna enjoy a day, just hanging around on camp, trying on a new camp chair, and gonna mess with a new solar blanket underquilt that I just made, and we're gonna try it out tonight. It's supposed to be down in the low 50s, which is pretty nice for June. So we're gonna have a good time. So we'll get on and off as we go the rest of the afternoon. Normally I have to crane my head way back and bend my back way back to be able to get a view like this, unless I'm laying in the tarp, but I'm in my swinging chair right now and it just leans back, and I'm just able to sit back and just look right up in the sky. I'm going to enjoy this tonight. It's supposed to be clear later on and have a beautiful night tonight, and you can see a lot of good stars up here at this particular state park. It'll look like it'll almost look like these trees are Christmas trees with lights on them twinkling, and so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so I wanted to show my new underquilt that I've made. This is what I call my solar blanket 3.0. If you look on the end here, and here, along the edge of the tarp, I have some red suspension lines, and they come up to here, and then I have hooked in a bungee cord, and that bungee cord comes on up, and I've got a carabiner that they hook onto there. Now, since I use a daisy chain, I can tighten this or loosen this just by moving this up and down the daisy chain. So that makes it kind of nice. It's a little more adjustable for me and easier to adjust. If you look right here, I have some cord locks. This is the cord that runs through the ends. And if you remember my construction, I had these on both ends, and then what I do is I just pull that up tight. So this is nice and tight right now, and it comes up around my hammock, and it doesn't let any air in through there. So it's very similar to a normal hammock setup. These are on the sides, those are in the middle. It's got some stretch, so it's going to stretch down, and so when I sit in it, it's not going to break anything. And I've already sat in it once, and I haven't really laid down in it yet. I've already sat in it once, and I could actually feel the heat reflecting back into the tarp. Now I have my mosquito netting, my bug net, on the outside, and if you look down here, you can actually see that there's a little bit of that underneath my hammock. So there's a little bit of a gap right there, and so there is a way for this to breathe a little bit. So I'm excited about that. I think that'll help it to breathe, and that way we won't get any condensation. But it remains to be seen. That's why I put it on the outside rather than the inside. But I do know that it goes down a lot farther. It doesn't come up way around my head like the old one did. So I'm excited about this. It only costs about 15 bucks or so to make. That's a lot cheaper than a $120 underquilt, even a cheap one. Okay, so as I said before, started camping here. I was planning on being up in Mohican doing a little backpacking this weekend, and I've been working out. I've been walking, trying to get about 1.5 miles every day. Sometimes I've gotten a little more than that, about 2 miles. once in a while I got like a mile, or I might have taken off during the rain and stuff, but been getting in a little better shape. Feel like I'm walking better and things like that. But I have been a little short of breath. And so I went to the doctor and just said, hey, you know, it's been 3 or 4 years since we've had a stress test or anything like that. Probably ought to do one. He agreed with me. So we had one this last Friday, and I think I scared the guys that were there. They thought, you know, something may really happen. Are you okay? Are you having, you feel bad? You got shortness of breath? And I really didn't. I felt fine other than just being out of breath. But they were really concerned. They gave me like 4 baby aspirin and stuff like that. I think they thought a heart attack was imminent. So I was a little nervous, but they had me come back in a little bit later and check, and everything was fine. Everything was normal. So, but the doctor called me Monday morning and said, or Monday afternoon, and said, hey, you know, it looks like we got a different area of your heart that maybe has some blockage, maybe at least a partial blockage, and we probably ought to cath it and go in and check it out, make sure, maybe put in a stent or 2 if we need to. So he said, now you don't have to change anything you're doing. You can keep doing what you're doing. I said, well, Doc, I said, I was planning on going backpacking. What do you think? And he says, well, he says, if it's a very strenuous backpacking experience, probably shouldn't do it. But he says, if it's, you know, you know yourself, you know, do what you think's best. I'll okay it. I'd rather have you. He didn't want me to just stop and sit in a chair someplace. So I thought about it, but I thought, you know, you pack a 30-pound backpack on your back and you go hike through the woods. It's not I was going to campsite 10 up at Mohican, and it's only about, you know, 3/4 of a mile to the site, and it's not hilly and all. But I just felt like, well, that's probably not really being a real wise person. And so I called the 2 guys that were going to come with me, and I said, hey, I'm sorry, I just can't do it. I still am going to go camping, so I'm going to do some, just do a car camp down at Mount Gilead State Park. If you want to join me, I'd love to have you. And they both graciously said, yeah, we'd love to come down. So I'm looking forward to it today, to just sit down and spend some time with them and talk to them and get to know them a little bit better. They're 2 guys that I know a little bit, but I don't know real well, so I'm looking forward to that. And my neighbor, a couple doors down, he rides a motorcycle, but he's a pretty neat guy, came over and talked. We probably talked about 45 minutes already. So that was kind of fun. That's one of the things I like about camping, is you get to know people and meet some new people. And it's amazing how many times you find that you have a lot in common with people that you don't know anything about. So I did get a couple staples on the way. I got some bugles. I love bugles. I haven't had any for a while, so I've got some bugles today. And I got a Pepsi. I stopped at McDonald's and grabbed a sandwich before I came in, so I didn't have to eat lunch. And I think I've got some Kung Pao chicken for supper. It should be a little spicy. And I've got biscuits and gravy tomorrow morning if I need to. I might have stuck some jambalaya in too. I can't remember. But when I get on these things, I'm not necessarily that hungry. I just enjoy being out. I'm really enjoying my new chair here. It's one of those swing chairs, and I really am liking that a lot. It's a nice big one. Fits me well. But I can also swing, and I can lay back almost like a hammock in it. So that's pretty neat too. So it looks like I'm going to have a new stent or 2 put in, and he wants to do it in the next couple weeks. So that is going to probably be a outpatient procedure. I don't think it's a huge issue, and they'll probably go through in through my arm, which is a little easier. If it's really bad, or they have to maybe put a couple stents in, they might keep me overnight just to keep an eye on me, but shouldn't be too bad. I've had this done before. For those of you who don't know, I had a heart attack when I was 44. I actually had it after the stress test that I was having, and I was at St. Anne's, and at that time they couldn't take any heart things, so I was having the pictures. They were just finishing up on my pictures on my heart, and I actually had a heart attack right there in the hospital. And they slapped me in a wheelchair and had me going down the halls really fast. And meanwhile, they were putting things in my arm, IVs in my arm while they were doing that. It's pretty amazing. And I had to go to Mount Carmel West at that point. That was the closest that they had to get me to some place that would do a catheterization. And I had a stent put in then. And I then had another, and I didn't have any issues for about, I don't know, 12 years or so. And then went in for stress test about every 3 years, and about 10 or 12 years ago, I had to have 2 more stents put in. The interesting thing about that one was because I wasn't feeling bad at all. I was walking a lot. I wasn't having any pain. I wasn't having any shortness of breath, but doc didn't like the results, and so he said, I just really think you need to have a cath. I wasn't really sure I needed to, but I went ahead and did it anyways, and we had a 90% blockage in one artery and 87 in another, and I wasn't really feeling any issues. So sometimes being in shape, or I wasn't in great shape, but walking and doing that kind of stuff, it can keep that blood flowing and keep it from clogging up completely, but sometimes it can give you a false sense of security too. So again, I probably could have gone camping today and backpacking, and I wouldn't, if I was staying at home, I probably would have been lifting some bags of mulch and things like that. I don't think it's that serious, and yet it's close enough, it is serious enough that probably we need to take a look at it, and I imagine that probably we'll have some blockage and we'll have to put a stent in. So, but it shouldn't be too big a procedure. The last time I had my 2 stents put in, 3 days later, I was walking about a mile a day, and ended up walking a half a marathon about 10 or 12 weeks after that. So that's my plan now. I just had started working out for walking a half a marathon in August, so I'm hoping to still keep on that target date. So. All right, so I promised you that we'd have 2 well-known YouTubers coming to join me, but since they didn't come, I got these 2 guys. No, so we got Scott Butler on the left, and we got John Higginbotham on the right, and they're just good friends of mine. I really only met Scott 3 weeks ago, I guess, and John, I met him quite a little bit ago, but forgot how I had met him. So we've been kind of reminiscent, and they were kind enough to just come down and make sure that I didn't do something I wasn't supposed to do this week. So I appreciate that. They're, in case I keel over and they have to call 911, they're prepared to do that. So anyways, we're going to talk to them tomorrow. We'll look at their gear because they got some really cool gear here. And we're just sitting around the fire. We had some supper, and I don't know, I think we're all just kind of enjoying just being able to sit around the fire and relax, and we're going to continue to do that. And I'll probably get on later when I get ready for bed, maybe show you around a little bit, show you my CPAP and some stuff like that. But overall, we're just we're gonna sit back and just relax for the evening. So Scott's grinding some coffee this morning. He's a connoisseur here. Gonna do a pour over, right?
Well, no. This is a Vietnamese fin.
Oh, okay, fin. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Car. We can make a couple of those too. This is kind of closer to espresso.
Yeah. Okay.
What's nice about this is it's not coordinated. It's kind of set and forget. You still have to do the bloom. You may want to pause that because I'm going to pour oatmeal and then.
Yeah.
And so take me that tasty.
Yeah. Check it out.
And that's a 1Z Presso grinder.
Very cool.
Okay, so you grind it, put it in, and
I always put my tools away when I use them so I don't lose things.
This is why you don't lose things than I do.
so you're going to pour in just enough water to so they swell.
First of all, I'm going to pour my oatmeal because it's right off the boil, and then I want oops, sorry. Stand back.
He's at it.
You signed
The chef.
You signed the liability waiver, right?
The Mount Gilead. Gonna call you the Mount Gilead chef here.
Okay.
The chef is in the kitchen.
So we want about 205 degrees, and we're
Oh, you got your thermometer.
we're good.
Oh, this is great.
205. So right now we're 201, so that's fine.
This is great.
Now this doesn't pour as easily as
Yeah.
This is not the ideal vessel for this. I need to upgrade that. So first thing, I'm gonna wait about 30 seconds.
And
You'll see the bubbles start to pop up here.
Oh yeah. Cool.
When the bubbles stop popping, it looks like a brownie. They call that. I think it's specific to.
It sure looks like a brownie. You're right.
Yeah, okay, and you put the filter in, and then it should take about 6 minutes. The way this is designed, and the grind setting is what you really have to dial in on this, because that grind setting and the water temperature and the time it takes to get through the grind.
Determines how fast it goes through and how much it sits there.
Right. So
very cool.
So in about 6 minutes, I'll show you the result.
Cool.
This is filtered through.
Oh yeah.
And it produces a nice, clean, very intense shot of coffee.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people like to dilute to make a good cup, or my first cup's for medicinal purposes, so that's what it's going to be.
That's great. That's great. So, this is my buddy Scott Butler. He and I really just met about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so he's got a hammock here that's a little different than mine. You guys all know by now, listening to my stuff, that I'm pretty big on my bare butt hammock, but it's a symmetrical hammock. I really haven't talked a lot about different hammocks and different tarps and stuff on this channel, so I thought this guy really is I call him an expert on different kinds of hammocks, and so he's going to talk about. He's got an ASIM here, and he's going to talk about his setup, and so we just thought we'd videotape it. So
expert, no, addict, maybe.
Okay, there you go. Maybe that's it. Yeah.
We'll start on the outside. This is a UGQ 12-foot hex tarp, and it's my standard backpacking tarp. I've had this in storms. It provides pretty adequate coverage. Doors are kind of a pain for me. Have it in semi-porch mode. Oh, there's ants on here. Wow, that's interesting. And I use, at least in this ground, it's been pretty decent. Easton aluminum 8-inch pegs, hammock gear, floor covering, and then this is a Dream Hammock Sparrow. Sorry,
I'll get in here. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's asymmetrical, and it's your standard right lay. So it's head left, feet right. The lays always goes by the feet, and that's 90% of the people. That's the way that they can go.
Yeah.
It zips from both sides, so you can put your head up that end or at this end. It doesn't really matter.
Right.
I have it suspended with Superior Hammock cinch buckle straps, and
hold that buckle sideways there. So
these are rated at 400 pounds, and they're pretty nice. They're a little bit easier. Some of the other cinch buckle straps, I have a set of those too, but These are nice because they're easier to adjust when there's weight on them.
Uh-huh.
And then if you look up here,
Yep.
I have a Myers Tech attachment on this, and it's made out of am steel.
Uh-huh.
And it's actually stronger than a carabiner would be, or a
That's
Dutch
cool.
clip or something like that.
Yeah.
And then attaching the tarp to the tree, I've got Dutch stingers. You know, and I use a split ridge line, so it's just one piece, and it's got a piece of zinget on each end.
Yep.
And this is extremely strong. This can hold hundreds of pounds. I think 575, something like that, which is more than enough for a fly.
Yeah. And I have a similar thing. I have one of the older styles. It's not as big as that, but yeah, those are really neat. And he's got a gator here as well, a mesh. Is yours mesh?
Snakeskin.
Snakeskin, yours mesh.
And this is a Dutchware one.
Yep.
I like the Dutchware ones because they have, I don't know if you can see here on this, there's a pocket on each end, and that holds your hardware. So you kind of put it in there and not have a tangled mess when you pull it out.
Yeah.
I try and keep all my stuff set so I can just pull it out of the bag and set it up without touching the ground when I get into a set.
Right.
So if we start from the bottom here, this is a Simply Light Designs Asym trail winder hammock. It's a 40-degree rating. It's Climate Shield. I've had this in the high 30s and raining, and it's been more than adequate. And it's also an underquilt protector. It's built in. It's made out of Argon 90.
Yeah.
And then the hammock itself is an 11-foot hammock, 62 inches wide. It's a Dream Hammock Sparrow, and it's got 1.7 hex material on the bottom, and then I've got a 1.6 orange on the inside. And this has both. I have the top cover because it got a little chilly last night.
Yeah.
But it also has a bug net.
Yep.
And
he's got a sling type thing.
This Ridgeline Protector is awesome because I came from a war bonnet hammock that had a shelf on the side, and I missed my storage space, and I don't with this. You put all sorts of stuff in here. And it opens from the ends as well. I also have a peak bag and another peak bag, and then an organizer on the inside that I can grab my phone, my flashlight, knife, whatever I need to in here.
Very cool.
For my top quilt, I have a Hemlock Mountain Outdoors 30-degree Climate Shield again top quilt. This company's out of Pennsylvania. Really economical. I would challenge anybody to find a top quilt, bottom quilt combination that's cheaper than this. This is just well made. And like all cottage companies, there's several months wait at this point.
Right.
But it's made out of the same material, the 1.6 hex that the hammock's made out of. And then I've got my good old Wiggy's pillow. I think this thing's probably, it's more than 20 years old. But, I love this. I don't really need a pillow so much in the hammock. But especially when it's cold, it's in the 20s and 30s. There's always a cold spot, and it's nice just to be able to stuff this in there and have it handled. And then I have my Enlightened equipment jacket here, the Torrid jacket. I think everybody has one. A lot of people have these online. It's just standard, and that just kind of fills the bill for head covering or whatever else I need. So,
and talk to me just a little bit about your headlamp there too, because you were talking about it the other night.
This is a Phoenix headlamp. I forget what. HM50R. And this is a nice size lamp, and it also it fits the bill between power and longevity with the battery. And I have really good luck out of this. It's small, and it's really easy to adjust. You know, it's in so you can adjust the angle of it. And oops, I just accidentally turned it on. But
now later on I'm going to show you. John's got one too, and he was showing it to us last night, and it's got a little thing that covers up the switch so you can't accidentally turn it on. So we're checking that out. So
and then lastly, I've got just detail things, right? I've got reflective zipper pulls on the outside of this. It's just nice to be able to find them in the middle of the night. Just like it's nice to be able to find your hammock sometimes in the middle of the night. So, and that's pretty much my basic setup.
Very cool. I appreciate you showing it to me. And like I said, you know, the Asym, and you said it's 11-footer, right? So you really get a nice flat lay with these. You know, That's a really important piece, especially if you're a bigger person.
Right, and it's a 64-inch width.
Yeah,
And they go up to, I think, 72 with that particular material.
Yeah.
But you run into the material sag with that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The Randy at Dream Hammock was awesome. He was my size at the time. He's lost some weight, so but he knew exactly what I needed when I gave him my height and my weight, and he dialed that in perfect for me. And
that's cool.
There are. It's like you're floating in air, literally.
That's cool.
There are no ridge spots or anything in this. It's really nice.
Very cool. Very cool. Thanks, man. So I wanted to show you John's setup here too, because he has a similar thing that I do. He's got a solar blanket thing that he does under his, and whoops, gee, tripping and falling behind you here. So that's kind of a nice thing. Now, what hammock do you have here?
This is the Hammock Mantis.
The Mantis, okay.
The Mantis, yeah. 3-in-1 system.
Yeah. Now that's a symmetrical one, right? It's not what they would call an asim like his was, right?
I'm not sure. I can lay.
Yeah, you can do a diagonal, but it's not super asymmetrical like the other one. You can see that. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But it comes with the straps and the carabiners. You know, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
The only thing it doesn't come with is
the
DIY.
And you just made that yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yeah, we were here. It was 48 degrees last night, and we both stayed pretty warm. And we just had those solar blanket types of things under ours, and we're able to stay pretty warm. So you don't always have to go out and buy a $150 underquilt to stay warm, at least not in the summer. So
other than being directly in the sunlight, well, don't pull it back. I've got a stake that actually, or a pole that goes back here.
Yeah. Goes in.
Yeah.
This is called the hammock. And where did you say this is originally from? Norwegian?
It's Norway. That's the only place it's from. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of like, it's almost exactly the opposite of what we think of traditionally as a hammock. This is, the ridgeline is going at right angles to the actual hammock. And that's pretty cool.
Scott, how tall are you?
5'6".
5'6". Well, it looks like you fill this out.
Well, they make it, I'm not all the way up, but they make a taller model called the XL. They say this is good up to 6 foot, but realistically maybe like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah. Right.
And then that's where they say, you get in the...
Need to go in the XL.